Hi guys and girls, I'm Obsidian and welcome back to Horizons Beta. There are many places in the galaxy that I wanted to visit, but one of the first places was the Pleiades Nebula. This system is Maia, and this planet is the one that the new space station Obsidian Orbital orbits. And here I am in the middle of some combat with one of the new minor factions, the Anthill Mob. Now, ever since Horizons was announced, one of the things that I was most curious about was what it would look like in a nebula from the surface of a planet. And we're going to find that out shortly. If you look at the sky here, you can see there are some slightly different tones in colour. Some of the nebula colours are apparent, but they're not too bright due to the harshness of light from the stars. So in a while, we'll go back up into orbit and land on the opposite side of the planet here. But nonetheless, the colours from this star really are striking, and they make this area look quite unusual indeed. Quite eerie, I'd say. There's some occupied cryopods here, so whilst we're at it, we might as well attempt a rescue mission. The narcotics are quite tempting, but I'm actually going to leave them. I've only got room for 2 lots of cargo in the SRV here, and both of them are going to be taken up by the people I'm going to rescue. I say rescue, but you can actually take them and sell them back at the commodities. Now, here comes my Asp. I'm about to return to it, and we can fly around to the opposite side of the planet and have a look at what the sky may look like there. I think you're going to be a bit surprised. I know I certainly was. The contrast between what it looks like here and what it looks like on the other side of the planet really is amazing. Now, I noticed the Anthill Mob has a small little base on the other side of the system here on one of the planets, and we'll also be going to that in a little while once we've had a look on the other side of the planet. Up in orbit again then, I'm not going to go too far away from the planet. I'm going to keep close and get around to the dark side here. You can see from this distance a lot of details from the planet, a lot of craters there and a lot of mountains, but the most interesting thing is going to come up as I get round to the dark side of the planet. Now you can see in the background the colours of the nebula are very faint and the surface of the planet is very dark. But watch what happens as the sun becomes occluded by the planet here. I've got to admit, I was completely amazed when I first saw this. Just look at the colours of the nebula there. But it's not just that, the starfield here is absolutely spectacular, and the ambient light cast upon the planet really is something else. This is something I've wanted to see ever since Elite Dangerous was announced right back in 2012. What we're going to do then is get down to the surface of the planet and have a bit of a drive around. And after that we can fly further into the system and have a look at that planetary base that's out there. Now this system does have a black hole in it. I don't think we're going to be able to get that close to it. There's no planet in orbit around it, but we should be able to see it on the horizon somewhere. Probably not from this distance, but when we get further into the system. So for those of you that haven't explored before, or for those of you that are new to the Elite game, there are plenty of nebula within the galaxy. Some of them are red and green like this one, others are true green, and some are blue. There's all sorts of different colours, and so you're going to get many different sorts of environments. There's also a lot of canyons and craters out there, many of them very, very deep and with mist, and we'll be looking at them in some of my other videos coming up. Now, it didn't take long to find a point of interest on this planet. There's a cache here of some cargo containers, and it's not guarded by any sentries. I'm going to leave the personalised weapons behind. There's a couple of occupied cryopods over here again, or occupied escape pods, so we will take them. If you take a look at the gravity information there on the bottom left of the heads-up display, you can see we've got 0.2 gravity. It seems that gravity does indeed make a lot of difference to how the SRV drives. A lot of people find it difficult to control, and I've noticed on the lower gravity planets it slips and slides around a heck of a lot. But once you get to about 0.2 gravity and greater, the traction is much better and it's a lot easier to control. I actually spent a fair while on this planet looking around, just amazed by the sight of the horizon there and the sky. I haven't yet had a chance to check it out in VR. That's something I really am keen on doing. But for now it's time to head back off again, so I'm going to call my ship here so we can travel to the other side of this system. As I mentioned, there's a little planetary base there. It's the only other occupied area within this entire system. Formerly, any area this far out in space was always uninhabited, but recently Frontier created a community goal and all the players got together to create a station out here. And it looks like that's expanding further out into the system with the start of some planetary bases arriving. It'll be interesting to see if any more of them turn up over the next few months, and certainly it'd be nice to see a settlement of some type out here. Now here, as we leave the planet, we get the opposite effect to what we saw when we arrived. As we get away and the sun starts coming into view, the light from the star itself starts blocking out the ambience of the nebula, and once again we're returned to the muted colours of this system. But fortunately the base is a very long way away, 315,000 light seconds. It takes an extensive amount of time to get to, and as you can see, this planet is orbiting very, very closely to its neighbour. And there we're approaching the unexplored base. It looked a lot smaller from the distance than I was actually expecting it to be, and when we get there we can see it's not even an outpost. We can't dock there, we can't land there, we can't even enter it in any way. It seemed to be there's some sort of silos here. Now this is occupied by the Anthill mob again, one of the local factions. And as you can see there, it's cordoned off, so if we do enter there, we're going to get a trespass warning. But it would seem there's nothing really at the moment we can actually do there. We may be able to get some missions based here if we go to Obsidian Orbital. There does seem to be a data access point here, but I'm not going to interact with it just yet. I don't want to risk the ire of these mobs here. So that then is a planet in the Pleiades Nebula, a very spectacular place. But the amazing thing is that this is far from the only spectacular place. There's going to be a whole bunch of other very interesting areas we're going to see yet, and I'll be bringing them to you very soon. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys and girls next time.